So, thank you everyone for joining us today. We are continuing our country spotlight. So, we'll be looking at Trinidad and Tobago, and our guest this afternoon is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Information and Communication Technology Company Limited, Dr. Inshan Meahjohn. So, let me tell you a bit more about Dr. Meahjohn. So, Dr. Meahjohn is a deeply knowledgeable and passionate executive with 23 years of international experience across business, government, and nonprofit sectors. Innovative and creative, he identifies and implements solutions and develop partnerships that provide unique and growth focused opportunities. In addition, he is an internationally published author dedicated to continuous improvement in every role and thrives in diverse, future facing, and fast paced environments. He has served in several senior board positions locally, regionally, and internationally. Over the years, he volunteered extensively in the nonprofit sector with an array of different organizations, mentoring the youth and supporting organizations to improve and enrich society. In addition to his professional experience, Inshan holds a Bachelor of Administration honors from the University of Glamorgan in the United Kingdom, a Master of Business Administration from the Australian Institute of Business, along with a PhD in Entrepreneurship from the University of Trinidad and Tobago. He's also a registered financial consultant with IARFC in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Dr. Meahjohn.
Good afternoon. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. I did. And I had the pleasure of sitting next to Professor McNaughton. Thank you so much. I would like to really thank you for the invitation to come to Jamaica. But there's a personal story that I have to share before I start my presentation. So, this is many, many, many decades back. I was a student in A levels, and I was preparing for biology, chemistry, geography, and of course, general people. And I had to do an emergency surgery at that point. And not a depression set in, but I started to feel sad. Now I see that we have a young guy, Keegan. You will not get this reference. A cassette tape was handed to me. You know what that is? You don't know what that is, right? You know what that is. It was created in 1960 and it went defunct in 1980, right? CDs. And on this cassette tape, because the only way to get music in those days was either the radio or a cassette tape. We didn't own a radio, but because I was recovering, they handed me this radio player with this cassette tape. And guess who was on this tape? Bob Marley. And I listened to Bob Marley for hours and hours and hours. And he was medicine for my mind and my soul. And when I came to Jamaica, I came a couple days ago and I landed in Norman Manley. Guess who was playing? Bob. So I wanted to thank you, the people of Jamaica, Mother Jamaica, for producing a man like Bob Marley, who saved me as a student way back. So thank you so much for that. So, do you know that there are over 8 billion people that are alive now, more than ever before in human history? More than two-thirds of them are active online, navigating a growing digital landscape. All of these billions of people sharing a planet with each other, interacting with each other, institutions, governments. All these interactions show us very clearly that DPI, digital public infrastructure, is not just important, it is essential. It forms the backbone of how we connect, access services, and build trust in a digital world. It is my honor, distinct, to be here in Kingston, Jamaica at the Caribbean Digital Public Infrastructure Summit 2025. So I'll give you another story. As I stand before you today to share about Trinidad and Tobago's story of digital transformation, I would like to begin with a story in Pune, India in 2023. I had the privilege of attending the Global Digital Public Infrastructure Summit in Pune. The experience was nothing short of inspiring. Representatives from across the globe gathered for the G20 summit in 2023 to discuss how technology and fundamentally can improve the lives of people. Subject matter experts shared about their country's aspirations, just like today, and challenges, and the wealth of India's experiences could be shared with the world. I was able to share Trinidad and Tobago's vision for digital transformation and, in turn, learn how DPIs could help accelerate that vision. That meeting planted a seed. Even as a small island nation, we could leapfrog hurdles by learning from global pioneers and adopting new models for building DPI. Standing there in Pune, amid talk of interoperability, fast payments, data empowerment, I imagined how similar interventions could address the challenges back home. I realized that the Caribbean needs were being discussed on a global stage and that we needed allies. In fact, we needed mentors who were ready to help. Today, I am proud to report on the journey, and it has unfolded from the inspiration of the G20 summit to implementation in our islands, and to highlight why DPI matters so deeply for Trinidad and Tobago and our Caribbean family. Our Caribbean context gives DPI special significance. Many of us here share similar development trajectories, small populations spread over multiple islands or rural areas, relatively small economies that must still provide first world services, and diaspora communities that remain connected to home. We also share constraints, such as smaller budgets that must stretch further and the need for ICT talent. These challenges can slow down your traditional ICT projects. This is where the promise of DPI shines for the region. By collaborating and using common digital building blocks, we can each progress faster than if we worked alone. Consider the issue of cost and capacity. It is expensive for any Caribbean nation to build complex digital systems from scratch. However, if we share knowledge, solutions, and even platforms, we can drastically reduce costs. One country's investment in a secure payment platform or an identity system can be repurposed by another with the appropriate customization, of course. We have seen early examples of this principle globally where open source platforms for digital identity or payments are shared across borders. My dear colleagues, why not within CARICOM? If Jamaica develops an e-payment gateway, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados can adopt it rather than reinvent, and vice versa. By reusing proven DPI components, we can skip years of development and avoid pitfalls that we have already solved elsewhere. Another common challenge is interoperability, not just within our countries, but also between them. Our citizens travel, study, do business across the Caribbean. Our systems should not only be siloed by islands. DPI can help us create standards so that a verified credential or digital payment issued within one country can be recognized in another with minimal friction. Imagine a world where a small business from St. Lucia can easily participate in Trinidad e-procurement, or somebody's digital academic credentials instantly verifiable when they seek a job in Jamaica. Establishing those common rails, secure digital IDs, credential platforms, payment switches lays the groundwork for a truly connected Caribbean region. This summit itself is a testimony to our commitment to collaborate on DPI and address these shared challenges together. So I'd like to share a little bit on Trinidad and Tobago's transformation journey. There we go. Over the past few years, our government has made digital transformation a top national priority, recognizing that modernizing our public services is the key to improving our competitiveness and quality of life. In 2021, the government of Trinidad and Tobago established the Ministry of Digital Transformation. This signaled a clear mandate to build digital society, digital economy, and a digital government as the three pillars of national development. As the implementation arm of the ministry, my company, iGovTT has been at the forefront of executing projects on the ground. iGovTT is Trinidad and Tobago's 15-year-old state-owned technology company and trusted ICT partner. It serves as an engine that turns the ministry's digital strategies into reality, working closely with all governments, ministries, departments, and agencies to roll out systems and services. The ministry sets the vision, the policy, and iGovTT provides the support to build managed solutions that transform our public sector. Our close partnership has been fundamental to our progress. It ensures that technological innovation is aligned with public policy goals and lets the government move at the speed of technology. Let me say that again. And lets the government move at the speed of technology. iGovTT is responsible for procurement contracts worth approximately $218 million. Our robust GovNet platform secures 20,000 users nationwide, while our digital solutions such as e-appointment, Employee TT, has streamlined over 390,000 appointments within the public sector, processed over 100,000 public sector job applications. These initiatives have not only generated significant cost savings, but we are proud to say we have achieved a 93% satisfaction rating. Let's move to cybersecurity. And I'm very proud of this. I haven't, in my travels, I've asked in every country in the world if this exists there, and I haven't found it as yet. In 2025, we launched the Cybersecurity Investment Tax Allowance. This enables local businesses to seamlessly validate cybersecurity investments and access up to TT 500,000 in tax credits through an online intuitive platform, strengthening our nation's resilience against cyber threats. Additionally, we worked with the Ministry of CARICOM and Foreign Affairs to develop the Single Market Economy CSME e-application system, significantly reducing the processing time for skilled certificates and right of establishment applications from 8 weeks to 3 weeks. And we have more to do. iGovTT strives to create inclusive services that meet the diverse needs of our citizens, including those with disabilities or limited digital skills. Our TT Connect service centers provide walk-in assistance and hands-on guidance from our exceptional staff, while our integrated live chat and chatbot solutions deliver real-time digital support. This dedication is reflected in TT Connect's customer satisfaction survey. As a matter of fact, we have seen 35,000 visits to our chatbot services. So let's go to the stack. And I know Anika shared a brilliant stack earlier. So ours doesn't match up to yours, but we'll try. In 2023, under the guidance of the ministry and with iGovTT's expertise, Trinidad and Tobago embarked on several foundational projects. We understood that we needed a strong backbone, the digital infrastructure upon which everything else would rely. Our approach was to develop a national technology stack that you see here, essentially a multi-layered architecture of systems, each providing critical capabilities for digital government. Allow me to briefly describe this stack as it represents our blueprint for a connected, secure, and citizen-centric digital government. At the base of our stack is world-class infrastructure. We've embarked on the development of a Tier 4 data center, which will be one of the highest reliability standards in data centers globally. This Tier 4 data center will be the first of its kind in our country and a rarity in the region. It is intended to provide a secure, resilient home for our government's digital assets. It is designed with redundancy, disaster protection, and it will aim for 99.9% uptime. In practical terms, this means that our critical government services will have a solid foundation with backup and failover capabilities, and even the concept of a data embassy. We all know in the room that there is a difficulty with placing your data in another jurisdiction. We would like to create an embassy so that you actually have control over that data. In an era of increasing climate threats, and the resilience is not just IT jargon, it's about safeguarding citizens' data and services under any circumstances. Connected at the core, we have GovNet, Trinidad and Tobago's secure government network. GovNet TT is the fiber optic and high-speed network infrastructure that links government offices, data centers, and service hubs across the nation. It has been strengthened and expanded to ensure that every ministry, department, and agency can communicate and exchange data on a single secure platform. Today, our GovNet ministries, departments, and agencies are linked to over 20,000 public offices. The network is like a highway system for digital services. Let's go to interoperability. The next layer is our interoperability platform, or IOP, developed in collaboration with our Estonian partners based on the X-Road platforms. This is pivotal to our DPI. As it stands, government databases operate in silos, and we would have seen some nice pictures of stacks, right? In a scenario which I'm sure we are all too familiar. Through standardized APIs and data exchange protocols with proper consent and security controls, we will soon be able to automatically verify a citizen's birth record, details, apply for a service rather than asking them over and over to supply originals and copies of certificates. The IOP essentially acts as a trusted highway of information exchange. It enforces data protection rules, ensuring that agencies only access what they are authorized to, and it keeps an audit trail for accountability. The result is a more integrated public service, whole of government approach, where the citizen does not have to navigate the maze because our systems will do the talking behind the scenes. Moving up the stack, we have established a secure identity and digital document layer. This includes our systems for identification, authentication, and digital signatures. While I am not able to delve into the future initiatives, not yet public, what I can say is that we have laid the groundwork for every citizen and business to access secure methods of proving their identity while accessing services. We're working on enterprise single sign-on for government services, meaning users will eventually authenticate once and access multiple services seamlessly. Our document management and exchange systems are also being upgraded. For example, digital document wallet and e-signature capability is in development to allow official documents or certificates that you can receive in a secure digital form and then reuse whenever necessary, instead of photocopying your papers endlessly. Finally, equally important component of this stack is the payment infrastructure. Digital government must also be able to transact digitally, and we saw Jamaica's examples. We are working on what we call a unified payments ecosystem that will support various transaction types, to government to person, business to person, for example, payrolls and pensions, and even person to person, in line with our national less cash initiative. We found that citizens get scared when we say cashless, and we are now saying less cash. So it's a less stressful terminology. Our aim is to enable real-time digital payments across the country. This means if a citizen pays government fee online or government disperses a benefit or vendor payment, it can happen instantly or within seconds, not days. We're integrating our systems with the banking sector's infrastructure to facilitate this. In fact, our digital transformation roadmap, we have identified the need to launch fast payment capabilities that link the individual's EID directly to a chosen bank account. So in summary, Trinidad and Tobago digital public infrastructure stack consists of 8 layers that work together as a foundation for our digital government. We are very proud of the work that has gone into this and continues to go into building them. The Ministry of Digital Transformation and iGov and many partner agencies have been working on this. It has not been easy. It has not been easy. But this investment means that we are poised to rapidly deploy new e-services because the underlying pipes and plumbing is now in place. Let's go to DPI as a package solution. The new approach. Even as we build out these core components, we are acutely aware of the need to develop and deliver tangible digital services to citizens quickly. Quick wins that demonstrate the value of digital transformation. Large infrastructure projects can take time, and people understandably want to see results. Shorter lines, faster payments, easier access. Dan showed the lines. We asked ourselves, how can we roll out impactful digital services in months, not years, leveraging what we built? Part of the answer came from that conversation in Pune. And DPI is a package solution, or DAS. The Center for Digital Public Infrastructure, CDPI, which I mentioned earlier, is a key champion of this model. And I would like to congratulate them. They harness the power of global experts, open source providers, funders to help countries develop a thin slice of DPI, typically including digital identity payments, data sharing in as little as 3 to 6 months. In our case, we looked at some of our national priorities and decided that one immediate need was in the area of verifiable credentials, essentially converting paper based certificates into secure digital forms that can be easily verified by anyone, anywhere. We knew this could particularly help our young people and professionals that are seeking jobs. CDPI and its partners have a mantra of sorts, one that we embraced, which I'll call plus one approach. This approach means that you add one new digital capability at a time on what you already have, focusing on quick deployment and tangible outcomes. By adopting DAS package approach, Trinidad and Tobago sought to demonstrate a result within 6 months, a very aggressive timeline. This was ambitious, but we were motivated by the clear use case and backed by the global coalition of support. We wanted to show that even in a small country, we can deliver nationally significant digital service in a short time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce that Trinidad and Tobago has become the first country in the world to embark on DAS implementation. And we did so just recently. It is especially fitting that we share this milestone here in the University of the West Indies, as UWI is one of the first institutions adopting this groundbreaking verified credentials. Give a hand to UWI, please. Thank you, Prof. This solution is a testimony to our nation's commitment to innovation and also to the power of partnerships. Our DAS project will go live in the very near future, making a major milestone not just for us, but for DAS regionally and globally. Please allow me to share just a few details. We're focusing on verified credential platform as the first deliverable of the DAS. Over the next 6 months, we will roll out verifiable credential stack on a national scale. This means that our government, through the Ministry of Digital Transformation and iGov, will begin issuing these digital credentials for certain records, starting with academic qualifications that a citizen can hold in a secure mobile wallet or online or share with anybody who needs to verify them. The first use case is academic certificates, diplomas, degrees that will be issued by the UTT and UWI. This will provide a seamless and secure way for individuals to prove their qualifications. I was having lunch with Prof, and I was telling him when in one of my jobs, I had to now write my university in Australia, write my university in the UK, pay for those two things, have it stamped and delivered, and then sent to the HR department without me having knowing when it was there, in order for me to be able to be confirmed in the job. So the pain I went through, hopefully my students will not be able to have to do that. We used open source technology for this credential platform, specifically the modern open source identity platform, MOSIP, and I say we have MOSIP in the room today, and the solution INGI for credential issuance. These are digital public goods, and I know there's a definition issue with that, but in my humble opinion, digital public goods providing the backbone for identity and credential management. We managed to go from go live to issuance of a sample batch of verified academic credentials in 90 days, which for us was astonishingly fast. It requires intensive work, nightly meetings across time zones. Poor Manuel, I don't know if he's in the room here. There he is. And he had to work late nights, early mornings. But why does this matter? It demonstrates leadership, providing that we learn from this opportunity for others. Trinidad and Tobago is effectively a real world laboratory for DAS. Global observers from the digital development community are watching our progress to see if this model can truly accelerate DPI adoption and deliver benefits exponentially faster. I am pleased to say the early signs are very positive. We have shown that with the right team, the right toolkit, you can stand up a nationally significant digital service in a matter of months, not years. We are literally writing history in the digital government space, and it's happening right here in the Caribbean. Just some of the benefits: speed, trust, efficiency, scalability, empowerment, and most importantly, these individuals that we serve, they are now able to go into the job market very quickly. They're able to now apply for a job and be certified quickly. This is the reason why we're doing it. I know we went through a lot of jargon, but that's your reason. Now, let me highlight a critical aspect of DPI, that it multiplies its impact. Interoperability, we've seen these systems not just internally, but with a vision of an ecosystem that spans government and the private sector. This also means that our digital identity payment data exchange platforms are designed to integrate seamlessly with the private sector, banks, telecoms, employers, educational institutions. By enabling tell us once process, we eliminate redundant data entry, reduce administrative friction, allowing citizen information to flow effortlessly across citizens. In so doing, we not only accelerate service delivery and foster trust, but we also transform DPI into true public utility that drives innovation, enhances efficiency, and benefits the society as a whole. This is how DPI transcends its name. It stops being government tech and becomes true public utility that everyone can tap into and create value. And importantly, by designing the way that we start, we avoid problems down the line of systems not being able to work together. The first 3 months after launch will to be focused on providing these external partners so that by the time our credential programs is fully scaled, it is already widely usable. Let's talk about ourselves as a region. Permit me to zoom out once more to regional perspective. Everything Trinidad and Tobago has accomplished and is planning, from our tech stack to the build-out of DAS, is part of a bigger picture. And that picture is one where Caribbean nations collectively rise. Remember Bob? By sharing and reusing digital solutions, we are not in competition. No longer. Rather, we are compatriots in the quest to improve our people's lives. The beauty of digital systems is that they are highly shareable. Software can be copied, adapted, improved collaboratively. Unlike a physical bridge that stays in one place, the digital bridge can be reproduced, deployed in multiple countries with relative ease. We must take advantage of that. This is why gatherings such as this, Caribbean DPI Summit, is so important. This allows us to swap success stories, cautionary tales, and even technical components. When we decided to pursue verified credentials, we drew upon lessons from other countries and open source communities. In turn, the tools and processes we develop can be taken up by our neighbors. If multiple Caribbean states use the same standards, credentials, or payments, we achieve interoperability across our borders by design, which multiplies the benefits for this and businesses. We're already seeing an appetite for this kind of collaboration in recent months. I've had conversations with colleagues who are keen to replicate this approach. What would you say the Caribbean Interoperability Task Force or Regional Digital Payments Forum would look like, where technical teams can exchange code and best practices. Let's leverage our regional bodies like the Caribbean Telecom Communications. Rodney's here. Rodney's working hard. He's working in the weeds. And he said it this morning. We need to work together as a region. We collectively maintain a repository of software, modules, policy templates, technical standards that any country in the region can draw from. Imagine that. Let's do that. Over time, this means that each dollar spent by each one of us in developing digital solutions yields dividends for all of us. A fantastic return on investment for all our governments. Ultimately, regional collaboration in DPI is about sovereignty and sustainability. If we as a region can master these digital tools and our own solutions, we are less dependent on external vendors and proprietary systems that do not talk to each other. We can negotiate as a bloc for technologies and simply look at the collective expertise. There is no reason why we cannot be creators or exporters of digital public goods. The Caribbean should be an exporter of digital public goods, not just importers. That's the past. We have unique perspectives and can contribute. And in my closing, I want to leave you with an image of hope. The image that is one of a connected Caribbean, not just by undersea cables or airlines or a network of shared digital infrastructure that makes our region feel like a close-knit community in an online world. A citizen of one island, upon moving to another, finds their digital identity and credentials recognized, their skills acknowledged, and their businesses able to operate seamlessly because our systems interoperate and trust each other. A startup in Kingston can offer services to Port of Spain without needing to rebuild the wheel, plug into common APIs. This is the Caribbean digital renaissance. We can envision where our small size is overcome by our collective strength and the use of technology. Trinidad and Tobago's story is one chapter in this unfolding book. We have embraced digital public infrastructure as the key to unlocking better public service delivery and economic opportunities. We've invested in core systems. Our journey from Pune to Kingston, from learning on a global stage to sharing on a regional stage, underscores the simple truth. When we collaborate and dare greatly, even small nation can pioneer to great change. To my fellow public sector leaders, all of you in this room, I encourage you to take back to your country not just the technical idea, but the sense of possibility, of hope. Building DPI is hard work, yes, I know. It is doable, however, and immensely rewarding. Look at those students. You will have to champion it. You will have to coordinate it across departments. You will have to allocate resources wisely. You will have to change minds and hearts. But know that you are not alone. You have a community here that will help you, that you can lean on. The same collective that helped us when we needed it. To the private sector and innovators, right? You're in the room. Get ready to build on top of these digital highways. As governments open APIs and data, there'll be so many opportunities to create app services, businesses that solve real problems for our people. We are laying the foundation. We invite you to construct a marketplace and neighborhoods of this digital economy. And to the citizens, the ultimate stakeholders, the reason why I do what I do is to serve the citizens. That long introduction that you gave, I am just really a servant of the people. That's it. Full stop. This will hold us accountable. Yes, but also dare to dream about how these things change and make lives better. Your engagement using new services, giving feedback, trusting systems is what will make DPI truly impactful. I will end with a reflection on the broader significance of DPI. It may sound very technical, but at its heart, it is about people and trust. And trust. It is about a citizen being able to trust when they press a button on their phone, they are truly connected to their government. to their community, and that connection would deliver value. It is about a young person trusting that their country has not left them behind in an analog past. It is about all of us trusting each other a bit more because of transparency. Efficiency replaces opaque, slow processes. That trust, once earned, becomes the bedrock of a more prosperous, equitable society. I thank you.
It is a Caribbean digital renaissance, the sense of possibility. Thank you so much. Give him another round of applause. He did an exceptional presentation, and I'm sure you may have some questions. Does anybody have? So you have a question here. Doctor, can you please join me up here?
Hi, my name is Florian Marcus, company Cybernetica from Estonia. So super cool to hear some of that stuff. By the way, so number one, all of the X-Road stuff, super cool. Number two, I wrote the Wikipedia article on the data embassy, so also great to see that you're moving in that direction. One brief question on the wallet and VC stuff at the very end. I greatly appreciate the vision for shared approach across the Caribbean. One question that I do have about the wallet side. There are other regions in the world, for example, the US, for example, the EU, where you need certified parts of a wallet, common criteria, EAL4, and so on. And the question is whether you are 100% aiming for Caribbean integration or also thinking strategically, sort of with cross-regional interoperability as well. Thank
So,
you.
absolutely. I mean, being part of a global economy, we understand that all of the lines that you drew across your country are no longer there. As a matter of fact, if you're not plugged into the global economy, it is not going to work. And in 2023 in Pune, they talked about that. So this is something that we are looking at a future state. It's not an as is state, but we are thinking about it. That's a great question, and thank you for writing that article. So there's one there, there's one there.
Is there a CARICOM interoperable DPI interop that word standard? I'm forgetting the word.
So I think Rodney would want to talk to that because he's been working on that as well. In order to be able to have that interoperability between systems, you have to have that shared standard. So some of the countries we are in the same, but some are not. That's the reason why we have to work together. Our young entrepreneur.
I guess, yeah, my question does come from a private sector point of view. If you would be able to share the roadmap for the verifiable credentials, if it may include possibly stuff like company registration documents, tax returns, good standing certificates, and so on.
So yeah, that is actually something we're working on. We want to be able to roll it out. We've been having a lot of discussions with Manuel on expanding the use cases. And if you think about it, a digital verified credential can be anything. So once you're able to have a proper issuing certification and authority, it means that we can do the other piece of it.
Okay.
So yes, the answer is yes, and that's a future state as well.
Okay, and I guess my follow-up question would be, where could we find documentation on accessing Trinidad's current DPI services and APIs?
So we're currently building that out. So you see there's a super expert in front there called Dan, and he might be the person that you would want to speak with initially because he's our mentor, right? So we are not the experts in this. We are the ones being helped.
Thank you.
So I'm Michael McNaughton, and yes, everyone's looking around, right? All right, so my question is really around interoperability within the context of regional and global, interaction. And foreign exchange controls are something that exists in the region, where governments basically try to protect, the efficacy of their own currencies. How do you see that working within this kind of environment, building out interoperability, technology interoperability?
So we have to recognize that we're sovereign nations. The Caribbean, each island here is a proud sovereign nation. Sometimes the rest of the world thinks that's the Caribbean. But we know we're not that. And we know that each one of us have laws our own laws, and we have our own standards. My plea, my ask, is for us to be able to work together on interoperability, and we don't have to do it. I think one of the speakers talked about sometimes we're 90% there and we throw it out. We don't have to get to 90%. Let's start with 10%. Let's start with one project. So, for example, the reason why we went with the academic credentials is because we know that UE is regional. So you have already covered Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, and anywhere else in which they operate. And when they issue that verified digital credential, any employer in the Caribbean region or in the world will be able to go onto that platform and verify that credential. What you're talking about is something that we're working on. We're in the weeds there. We haven't seen the forest through the trees, but we're working at it. Thank you.